Here's what we all need to do. We need to start doing today what will make a difference 100 years from now. Not 15, not 20, 100 years from now. Actions that impact lifetimes. Changing one student's life, one individual's life, so that families, lineages, bloodlines are different. It's amazing how regrets, things we've done in the past, inaction, because of those regrets or those shames or disqualifying ourselves, vows, I will never, to build up systems, past stuff that causes us to leave opportunities on the table. I got passed it by because it's not about me. God wouldn't be there for me. No, that's not gonna. I just don't want it. My vow. Inaction, inert. It's a term in psychology which says studies reveal that when you miss an opportunity, you're more likely to miss that opportunity the next time, and even more likely to miss it again the time after that. So when you start dismissing opportunities, dismissing things that God is moving in your life, seeing the reality and living in the spinning top of your life, you will miss God. God can't do the miracles he's been longing to do, which he wrote out to happen already before he said, let there be light. I don't know if that gets to you, if you understand what the Bible has said about you. Average isn't going to cut it. Status quo isn't going to make it. Ephesians 5:16. Make the most of every opportunity in these evil days. Not saying that you miss them, but you're looking for it. You're looking, anticipating what God's about, and you're trying to make the most. You're trying to do whatever he says. Because you know what was stopping revival? The last thing he told you to do that you haven't done. Let me stop with that again. Terry and I were watching this documentary on Welsh revival, and one of the key revivalists made that statement. The only thing stopping revival is where you stopped doing. You didn't do the last thing God told you to do. God wants to be active. We need to start praying to get ourselves to a level that we have a strength and a courage that we could say, God, I don't know how or what to do in the mess and all this going on, but could you show me how to put one punch against Satan this week that it hurts him? I just want to know that somehow this week I've given one punch. And then you'll start seeing that you're doing a couple kidney shots. Yeah, you did a couple things that really got back to him. You're saying, God, now show me where to stand. Show me where to fight toe-to-toe. Making the most of the opportunities is that type of thinking. Do you know how to make a big difference? I could talk about it, but do you know how to do that? We all want to make a difference. Turn to say, you want to make a difference, don't you? Turn to them, ask them, you want to make a difference, right? Of course you do. We all want to make a big difference. It often starts in the little, small things God told us to do. Small things. In this D.C., on their license plate, it's almost humorous and paradoxical, are three words: taxation without representation. That's where most of the taxing comes from, without any representation. Well, anyway, that's on all the license plates in the D.C. district. In 1761, a lawyer named James Otis resigns as the Advocate General of the Royal Colony, Massachusetts. He has it made. He is working under the key governor who's working under the king. He has it made. You're going to get so much property. You're going to get so much money. Everything's coming your way. Just do what we ask you to do. And as he's writing out these writs and he's taxing people for all types of things, he comes to a realization, this is not right. In fact, taxation without representation, where you can share what's going on and be a part of the process, that's tyranny. That's just someone saying, you're going to do this. And taking, it's tyranny. So he decides, I'm going to argue this case, and in arguing this case, I'm going to get fired. I'm going to lose my job, so I'm going to let that be my resignation. I'm just going to resign. He's going to lose all his status, all his future, over this idea. And in court, he argues this case so well that a 15-year-old by the name of John Adams is there. It stirs in his heart that in 1776, years later, he declares himself free and asks us to join the revolution. John Adams says this, what he said in that day was made into pamphlets, was went across. He thought he just was getting fired. You're getting kicked out, you're being demoted, you're going to be nobody for the rest of your life. Instead, you became the father of the American Revolution because of the arguments and the things you put forth from God. It's in the little steps of faith that are scaring the heck out of you that the kingdom of God advances, moves forward, takes ground. James, I would just say, okay, I can't go with this anymore. I just have too much integrity. I'm giving up my job. You can't control the outcome of anything, but you can control your input, your decision, your choice. A dream within a dream within a dream. My life is over. It's done. But God says, no, I have a dream. And you're kicking it all off. If God is on your side, the odds are in your favor. It's called the favor of God. Now, you've said all these other things to the friends next. You turn to them and encourage them. You have the favor of God. Tell them that. You have the favor of God. You have the favor of God. He is with you. He's on your side. Joshua 3:5 says this, consecrate yourself. Set yourself apart is what that means. Get yourself right. Commission yourself. For tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you. Do you know what your job is to do? Consecrate yourself. God, where have I left you this week? Where have I not done the what you've told me to do? Where am I being rebellious? Where am I pushing back? Where am I just being frustrated and confused? That's of Satan. And you have a plan to show me how to deal with this. Where do I want to quit? Where do I want to give up? Because, God, that's not your plan. You want me to throw a punch against the enemy. You have something different. Where is that one thing so I can consecrate myself? That's my job. When I do my job, God is going to do his job, and he's going to show up every time. We all want to do great things. Let's stop trying to do God's job and do our job. Say, God, here I am. I'm ready. Number 3. So it's important for you to know your dream that God has given you, what God is asking you to do, predates you. Before you were born, God already had this laid out and planned. It predates you. The Bible is very clear about this, very specific about this. Billy Graham, who's well known as an evangelist, who huge crusades, millions were touched, produced all types of movies, The Hiding Place. I can go through all the different movies that he's produced that touched people, that impacted them, that stirred them to turn your eyes towards God. Impacted presidents. Many of them in difficult times would secretly have him come in and have them pray with them. 82 years ago, in 1940, a professor from Wheaton took a trip to England, and he took a group of students with him. They went into a certain place. It was Epworth Rectory. It was the home, or been the home, of John Wesley, who was a renowned revivalist who saw literally thousands upon thousands of people come to know Lord and had such a huge impact. Beside his bed, on the floor, were two big holes, worn through the carpet, worn into the wood of the floor. That's where he used to kneel and pray. He prayed for revival. He prayed for individuals. He prayed for people so much he wore a hole through the carpet. His knees began to carve out grooves in the wood. And they showed him that's where that was. And so they left to get on the bus to go to the next place, and they found out someone's missing. So the professor, I'll go back, find him. And so went back, walking through the house, trying to figure out where this one student was. And he found Billy Graham beside the bed, his knees in those notches that had been worn out, his face weeping, God, come and do it again. God, come and do it again. John Wesley had no idea that a younger generation, centuries after him, would be stirred by his example and would cry out like he cried out, Lord, bring revival. Bring revival. And Billy Graham, one of his revivals was key in the kickoff of the revival in the 70s among the youth and the hippies, and right down here in Southern California is where the expo happened, and all of that occurred because he knelt in a spot and he said, God, do it again. Do it again. Hello, I hope we've added value to your life today. Will you take a moment to subscribe so that you don't miss any live streams? And then the other thing I want to let you know is share this with a friend. And just remember, every Sunday you can be with us live. Thanks for sharing this moment.